Good evening and welcome to the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids pregame show. It's Friday night and the Edmonton Blizzard are in town. There's a lot to talk about and such little time to do it. We're going to talk about all that and more here on the pregame show. But first and foremost, you know what time it is. It's time to get into the tale of the tape. So going into this game, the Blizzard are sitting 27-15, 2-2 on the season, second overall in the East League North Division. The Rapids coming in with a 25-15, 5-1 record, which puts them just 2 points behind them in third. And then we go to each player leading the team in goals, assists, and points. For the Blizzard, it's Darian Thompson leading the way with 37 goals. A league lead for the Rapids is Cohen Miller with 25, Jonah Leard with 39 assists. Darian Thompson also leading the way for the Blizzard in assists with 32. And overall points with 69. Jonah Leard with 57 points on the season. Their goals for and their goals against significantly different. The Blizzard 198 goals for and 145 goals against. The Rapids with 175 and 159 goals against. So quite the matchup, do we say. We're going to go into the special teams as well. The Blizzard, the first ranked power play in the East League North Division as well with 21.6. The Rapids sitting in third at 18.8. The Blizzard with the first ranked penalty kill at 87.4. And then the Rapids in second place at 82.8. So, what happens in this game? Well, you already know the stakes. You know what's going to happen. Right? You know that it's going to be a very physical, very chippy back and forth game. But before we do this, it's the last couple of games of the regular season. I want to break down the matchup a little bit. So, as we know, season series right now is at 3-2 in favor of the Blizzard. Edmonton beat Grand Falls on October 9th 4-2. Then the Rapids would end up winning two straight, 7-3, October 17th and 18th. Then Edmonton would beat Grand Falls in overtime, and then again on February 1st, it was that 6-2 win in Edmonton as well. So, and they have this game tonight coming up, so the Rapids could potentially tie the season series if that does happen. And then when they play at the Jean Daig Center in Edmonton on next Thursday, they have another chance to get it back as well. So, this is obviously a big game, and I don't think that the importance of it can be overshadowed. This is two playoff teams that are battling it out to get as close to the top of the standings as they possibly can. The West Kent Steamers currently sitting 5 points ahead of Grand Falls, 3 points ahead of Edmonton, and it's going to be an all-out dogfight. There's 6 games left. Both teams want to try and get as many points as possible, and this is going to be no exception. I mean, you've seen these two teams do battle time and time again this season. The legendary brawls that they've got into over the last few years, and especially in the last game that was 6-2 with less than a minute left, that huge line brawl that broke out. That was another just testament to how fierce this rivalry truly is. Now, in this case, let's just say for argument's sake that the West Kent Steamers do pull ahead and they clinch first place. It would be Edmonton Grand Falls in the playoffs. And then it just becomes the battle for home ice advantage. So it's an important matchup for multiple different reasons, but this could potentially be the first round series between Grand Falls and Edmonton that we've been anticipating for the last little while. We got a little taste of what it will be like come playoff time for each of the three teams around the East League North to face off against Grand Falls, but anything is possible in terms of the way that the division is seeded, because right now, again, standings are not final. And there's a lot of work to be done in terms of those standings. So I want to dive into the matchups a little bit. Now, this is something, again, that we haven't done a whole lot of this season, but the ones that we have, obviously, were a big hit. So the matchups, Darian Thompson, one of the best playmakers in the league. We mentioned that he's a good goal scorer, leading the league with 37 goals right now. William Labranche, same thing, one of their best. Emile Fournier on the back end, one of the best forwards in the league, and overall just a big size and scoring threat. Guy who can use his size to his advantage. Lucas Fortin on the back end as well, has that QMJHL experience. And of course, we know Cedric Massey, who, if you let him get dialed in, he's going to get dialed in. But on the flip side of that, the Rapids are riding on a couple of their stars as well. Loic Francoeur, right? 7 points in 5 games. Jonah Leard, riding on a 3-game point streak, 5 assists in those 3 games. Anton Tobolnitsky, again, has himself a little bit of a 2-game point streak going with a goal and 2 assists. And Patrick Baxter, who's on a 4-game goal streak. We haven't talked about that a lot. And one thing that I want to mention is not just the depth, right? You got guys like Derek Aslan, Declan Kennedy, Tristan Richard that are all depth pieces that can help your scoring. But let's take a minute and talk about Patrick Baxter, because I don't think that people realize how valuable of a player he is to this team, just given not the fact that he is on a point streak, but he is just pure heart and soul. Every time he steps on the ice, you can see it. He oozes confidence, and I think that this is definitely showing that. And him being on a 4-game goal streak, I mean, it's not easy to do, especially against teams, you know, like Campbellton, Miramichi a little bit easier because obviously they have sold off a lot more. But when you're playing tough teams like West Kent and Edmundston and Chaleur, you know, like all of those teams, and you're putting up a 4-game goal streak on those games, that's a lot of respect right there. And I got to say, when it comes to the confidence and when it comes to overall developing as a player, he's done such a great job of doing that over the last few years. I remember when Baxter was a rookie, he came in and nobody was really sure what to think about him, but he's just become such a great player and such a huge asset to this team. And one of the real big pieces for the future, right? He's a guy who complements the top 6 very well, can move up and down the lineup at any point, basically, where you want him to play. He can play any position, and he's just such a valuable piece. A 4-game goal streak, especially against teams like that, it is just impressive. Same thing with Loic Francoeur, right? 7 points in 5 games. Not an easy thing to do. Jonah Leard earlier on, before the last home game, or 2 games before the last home game, he was on an 8-game point streak. Now has gone on again, and he's on a 3-game point streak. It's not just about the points, but when these guys get hot, that's exactly what you need to start that fire and to get the boys going. Speaking of getting the boys going, one piece, and we're going to dissect the matchup a little bit more here because I want to go back into talking about things from the special teams perspective. So we mentioned the power play. Edmundston's power play is the best in the division and, you know, top 2 in the league. So is their penalty kill. But you look at Grand Falls when they match up with that, you have a real solid PK as it is. And though your power play ranks 3rd, you're still top 2 in the league, or still top 3 in the league. And one guy who I think is just so underrated on the power play is Anton Tobolnitsky. And I've said this time and time again, the guy uses his shot like a beast. And if you get him on the PK, or if you get him on the PP and at the point, feeding those slap shots towards the net, they're going to go in. And you're going to get those guys who don't want to stand in front of the shots, right? I don't want to compare him to Shea Weber because obviously that's just a superstar situation. But when you face a guy with a hard slap shot like that, the first thing that their opposing defense is going to think is, get me the heck out of here. I don't want to face that. And though it is the ranking in the numbers is not there, you're starting to see their power play click a lot more. And it's going to be a battle of the special teams. It could get to the point where these two teams, the special teams, right, their power play or their penalty kill could make all the difference in the game. We've seen games that are that tight, but we've also seen them very lopsided as well. Either way, it's going to be physical. But the special teams could determine what the final score of this game is. It's going to be huge. It is going to be absolutely massive. Keys to the game. Grand Falls, stay out of the box. You know they're going to try and goad you into those penalties. They're going to do everything that they can to make sure that you sit in the box, that they're on the man advantage, and they're going to capitalize on it. For the goaltending, make sure that if it's Adam LaCour starting, that you're defending the net as much as possible, giving him as much of a hand as you can, and making sure that he makes those big saves. He's going to be dialed in. We already know this. The third key is the most important one, is just play your game. Sometimes we've seen the Rapids get a little bit out of that, where they try, it's almost as if they try to play the opponent's game and get into their heads a little bit, but playing their game is really going to help them out here, especially against this division rival Edmonton team. We've seen it time and time again. They're able, once they're dialed in and they're able to get set up and play the way that they play, it's a much different game than anything else. So this is going to be a big one. They've got Edmonton tonight, Campbellton on Sunday, and then they take the road on next Thursday to face off against Edmonton at the Jean Daig Center. If you haven't already got your tickets, make sure that you get them for that. For Sunday's game as well, it's going to be a big one. And the Rapids, hey, listen, as much as you can win would be fantastic, because home ice advantage comes with not only first place in the division, but it also comes second place as well. You want to win as many games as you possibly can. So, with that said, I'm looking forward to the game here, but I want to just take care of a couple of other things as well. The Rapids Heat Index. Voting closes on March 5th. You want to make sure that you get your votes in. And 100%, this is so important. Make sure that if you haven't already, scan the QR code on the screen right now, and you'll be able to be brought to the Google Forms, and your vote will be counted there. So if you find a player, or if you vote for a player who in the last 2 weeks of the regular season has been your final Rapids Heat Index player of the week for the last couple of games, cast your vote there, and we'll reveal that on the show on March 6th, which is going to be the last home game of the regular season. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to some of the great responses. We've already received a lot of responses from the community on their players, and it's just been so awesome to see everybody taking part and participating in this. So with that said, I'm going to have the call up in the booth, 7 o'clock on Flow Sports. If you're not able to make it, make sure that you're cheering from your couch, and for those who are going to be making it here tonight, make sure you're making some noise. The last time that Edmonton was here, their fans were cheering loud and proud. We want to make sure that they're not out cheering us in our own barn. So get on your feet, make sure that you are loud, make sure that you're screaming and doing everything that you can to make some damn noise for the Rapids. I will see you up in the booth. We'll see you back here for the post-game show coming up after the game, and stay tuned for all of the exciting future content coming up.